Hello, this is Larry Minnix. Thanks for taking a few minutes with me. I've just come from the White House where there was a big event on elder abuse and neglect and how to prevent it. There's 6 million seniors every year that are victims of abuse. Little known in all of that is the financial abuse that many of them are taken advantage of. The emphasis today was on how to recognize and prevent that abuse. I was joined at that meeting by two of our members, Rich Brody from Benjamin Rose in Ohio and Dan Reingold, Hebrew Home at Riverdale in New York. Dan is working with several of our members throughout the country to establish elder abuse shelters in several cities. And if you're interested in that, I encourage you to call Dan. The emphasis on financial abuse was joined by Assistant Secretary Kathy Greenlee, who was the leadership of this effort, along with the HHS Secretary and the new Director of the Office of Consumer Affairs, as well as the Assistant Attorney General, and several major banking concerns in our country. I remember in my career once a Methodist clergy called me to say that was a family, Mr. and Ms. Fuel, who had no children. And they had health problems, he said, and wanted to move into Wesley Woods. Someone needed to make sure they were provided for. I went to see the Fuels one evening. They lived in what had become the highest crime neighborhood in Atlanta, a once really nice 1920s suburb. And laying out on the table, Mr. Fuel had there for me to look at several $100,000 worth of stocks, bonds, and cash. He was in a wheelchair and mentally in good shape, but his wife, while physically in good shape, it was obvious she had significant mental impairment. He said, "I'll give you all of this if you'll make sure that we're taken care of, and I'm especially concerned that she be taken care of after I'm gone." Well, I told him, obviously, we could not take that money, but I could get him the right kind of help, and we put him in touch with an attorney that could help him manage his estate. He predeceased her. We took her into one of our nursing homes, and within a couple of years, she ran out of money because a nephew had come out of the woodwork and had obviously relieved her of a lot of it. We found out today that the biggest abusers of the elderly financially are oftentimes family or long-lost family at that. So what does this mean to us? We need to make sure that there is a trusted guide in every community to help seniors and their families and help businesses like banks and loan officers and trust officers and stockbrokers understand the signs and symptoms that make people vulnerable to abuse. Work with them, set up education programs to educate the public about how to avoid these problems. Secondly, make a special emphasis to be transparent about your own finances in the community, especially the understanding of things like contracts with continuing care retirement communities. We know that all of these financial mechanisms are going to be on much stronger scrutiny by the public in the future. And thirdly, and most importantly, take a leadership role. Be the trusted guide in your community around these issues. Because if anybody in your community stands for doing the right things for the right reasons, it's our members, 6,000 of you, who touch the lives of 4.5 million people every year. Thanks for spending some time with me.